Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
In life, if you want to get rich, what do? You find a problem and you fix it. You solve it. But in today's world, what you do is you follow that money, and usually you'll find the people that are A, causing the problem, who are now here to fix it, or B, found the opportunity to fix the problem and then want you to be forced to deal with it on their terms. That's life, kids. A little lesson right there for you. Free. Didn't cost you anything. Do you remember when this whole thing started and it was like, well, there's never going to be any mandates. Nobody's going to mandate anything. But lo and behold, things have started to change. Remember how it went from, businesses can mandate some stuff because it's business. All right, that's their thing. CYA and themselves privately. But the cities and the states and the feds aren't going to get involved. And then, lo and behold, you had, Biden, I'm never going to mandate anything. What did they do? They mandated something. But it was always the caveat of, we're mandating some stuff, but it's really, we're going to give people options. And the option is simply this. If you don't want to get the vaccine, you got to test. But have you noticed over the last several weeks that those options are disappearing? That the testing side of things aren't there? That the mandates now get it or else? No longer about testing? Get it or else. Get it or else. That's it. New York today.
Nearly three-quarters of city workers are already vaccinated. The rest have until October 29th to get at least one shot or risk being placed on unpaid leave. As an incentive, the city is offering an extra $500 for receiving a dose at a city-run vaccination site. The new mandate applies to police officers and firefighters whose leaders have endorsed it, but whose unions have resisted.
Yeah. It's happening more and more. The get it or else. Yesterday, Southwest backed away from that. They said, well, we're just going to tell people that they're going to have to comply to certain things. I think most people will say, hey, fine, that's fine. You know what? You want me to test? I'll test. I got no problem with that. Data, facts, those things matter. And it's only as good as what you get, right? So you could think, hey, I've got all the facts, I think, but the people that are feeding you the facts may be giving you skewed facts and data. The facts and data that you're getting, right? So you're getting all these facts here and the statistics and everything, but you're only getting a portion of said story, so you're not getting it all. The boondoggle that matters in all of this, A, take this thing serious. If you're compromised with your immune system, you take this damn thing serious. If you care about people in the sense that, hey, you know what, I got a grandmother and grandfather, and I would, if something happened to them, I would be devastated. You take this thing seriously. You, even if you're young and healthy, you know what? You're like, hey, I don't want to get sick. I'm going to take this thing serious. What we don't do anymore is our own homework. What we don't do anymore is look. What we don't do anymore is talk about things that matter. Because we're so interested in a lot of the other insanity. Right? I mean, you turn on the news and again, everybody's fighting over stuff and you're like, what is this about? I'm surprised the Washington Post had this out there. Right? MSN had it out there as well, and only because it was getting pushed out by Public Citizens, a consumer rights advocacy group. When you see what Pfizer and BioNTech are doing to not only our country, but also to other countries around the globe, and how they are basically telling them, look, you can get our stuff and we'll cut you a good deal price-wise in some senses, but you're locked in and there's going to be no compete. And in fact, we have the right to take collateral. We might want to go up there in Brazil. See the statue of Jesus. We may want that as collateral, as a just in case. By the way, don't think that you're going to get free stuff either. If the United States offers you the opportunity to have some free Pfizer, you don't take it. You don't take Moderna. Moderna says the same thing. You don't take Pfizer. If you sign a deal with us, it's with us. I'm all about business. I got zero problems with that. But I'm also smart enough to realize that you follow it. The money. You follow the money. Do you know that 9 new billionaires have been created since this? In fact, the wealth that they've created, almost $20 billion, is enough to fully vaccinate the entire low-income countries almost 1.5 times. Fully vaccinate. And if you take the existing billionaires in the pharma world, it's closer to $33 billion when you add up how much money they've made. You follow the money, and you'll get answers that are real, comparatively. I've always said that. You watch any of these, because we're getting ready towards, I don't know about you. I was talking to one of our sales managers. She was telling me yesterday, the buys that are coming in already for candidates for next year's races in the midterms and some of the stuff. But what's hilarious is the candidates aren't buying it. Wait till the end of the commercial to find out who paid for what, and you'll find out what they're really after. I found that out a long time ago when California was trying to have casinos, and the Indian, Native American groups were fighting to get casinos, and everybody was resisting it. At least that's what we were told. And you look on the commercials and this, that, and the other. But then you read the fine print before they had to tell you who paid for the thing, but you could read the fine print. And who do you think was paying for that? Oh, it was Vegas. Because they like their captive audience. This is what you do nowadays, kids. If you're really serious, you look. You find out who's doing what. What are the real numbers in certain situations? How can I trust anything that people are saying? You got Gavin Newsom out there screaming and yelling about mandates for kids and mandates for this and mandates for that. And oh, my goodness gracious, you better have mandates, more mandates, more mandates.
We are announcing a statewide requirement for in-person instruction for all of our children to add to a well-established list that currently includes 10 vaccinations and well-established rules and regulations that have been advanced by the legislature for decades to add to that list the vaccination for COVID-19. The vaccine, which will give us time to work with districts, give us time to work with parents to build more trust and confidence and build out a logistics so that we can deliver on what we are promoting here today.
Money and control. Power. That's what it equals. You got money and you get some control. That equals the power you want. Mandate, mandate, mandate. Unless, of course, they're giving to your candidate. So if they're giving to your candidacy and they're a union that says, hey, we would like a waiver on this stuff, well, that's okay, right, Gavin? Because some unions gave $1 million and you're going to help them along the way in the courts to try to get past. Just follow the money. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Anything that says, hey, we're mandating this. Okay. For how long? I don't know. What's the threshold? Couldn't tell you. So you're mandating a vaccine. You're mandating a face mask situation here in certain places. And again, not private. I'm talking about the private business. You can do what you want in your private business. You want people to wear lingerie in your business, and the only thing that they can do, doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, right? You want people to wear top hat and tails, and that's how you're going to get in your business. That's a you thing. But as we look at all these mandates, what I never see is the sunset. What I never see is the threshold of, you know what? No. You know what? Nah. You know what? No. Somebody said to me yesterday, well, if we could just get everybody vaccinated, we get back to normal. Would we? And by the way, who's stopping us? Most people are living normal now. But who's stopping us? Well, the people who aren't vaccinated. Why? Because they're not vaccinated. But tell me why they're stopping you. Isn't that the city and the state? And isn't that their deal? Well, yeah, but it's only because people aren't vaccinated. Yeah, but people who are vaccinated can catch this and can give it. If we're really serious about this, then we should test everybody every single day with instantaneous tests, so that way we can try to stop the spread of something we will never eliminate because it can jump from animal to human. Are you really serious about stopping this? Or are you just listening and seeing the news and saying, well, we got to get on this? Well, Chad, you're just an anti-vaxxer. No, I'm not. I've got the vaccine. And as I told everybody, I had the cojones enough to apply to see if I could be a tester fish for it. Several things you should worry about when it comes to all of this crap. The money side of it, just like, people wonder about insurance. You let the insurance companies into Obamacare, into the ACA meetings to help craft a bill. What do you think was going to happen? Oh. So wait, you're going to mandate people have to buy my stuff? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we're totally on board for that. Follow the money. That's all I'm saying. Do a little homework. Do a little homework. People won't. And by the way, for all those people out there going, this is why capitalism sucks. Capitalism's great. Crony capitalism that both sides participate in, who soak up the money, all the while screaming about the inequities and evil in the world. That's what sucks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. A lot of stuff to get to. Supply chain. Normally, this time of year, little busy, L.A., Long Beach ports. 17 ships. Normally. 100 ships right now. So think about that. 5 times what's normally out there. And in fact, they're so overloaded. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday with the ship world and the containers. They don't even know what to do with the containers after they unloaded them. They're just dropping them in neighborhoods because they're so busy. Yeah. That's real. That's a nightmare. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. My Pillow is awesome. It's incredible. It really is. It's the Giza Dream Sheets. Last night I had fresh sheets. Giza Dream Sheets. My gray ones. Very nice. I put them on the bed. Slid right in. I was out like a light. I sleep cool. I sleep comfortable with the best sheets around. You will never own anything like these again. If you want to feel like you're sleeping on $1 million, and come on, we've all gone places where you've stayed at a hotel and you're like, these are the worst sheets ever, or you've stayed in a hotel and you're like, oh my God, well, these are the, oh my God, amazing sheets. Giza Dream Sheets, buy one, get one free, long staple cotton, grown in the Mediterranean, absolutely incredible, 60-day money-back guarantee. And you're going to buy one, get one free. Different colors, different sizes, everything. You will love these. Get your buy one, get one free Giza Dream Sheets right now. MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson to save big. No supply chain issues here. Make great Christmas gifts. You will love, love, love these. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Check out deep discounts across everything from the My Slippers to the towels. You name it, they've got it. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Podcasts are American as hot dogs, apple pie, football, and sushi.
Oh my goodness. No.
Okay, maybe not sushi. Next time you have a craving for something sweet and tangy, download a Chad Benson Show podcast.
Boy, that is good. It's different because you get a little bit of saltiness.
It's so good because it's sweet and salty at the same time.
Get a taste on iTunes, iHeart, or Spotify and binge to your ears' content.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
Christmas not too far away. In fact, yesterday, I went to the store and I went to get, normally I get these drinks that I love. They're key lime. They make these, they have, it tastes like it's water, but it tastes a lot like Sprite, and they've got key lime and lemon. They had everything, they got all kinds of stuff, but they've been out and they were saying, look, they're on a ship somewhere. We don't know when they're going to get them. The guy yesterday over here said we should have them by Thursday, Friday, but they're so far backed up. And he goes, we just got the Cokes and stuff today that we've been missing. And I'm seeing more of that. And this was another one of the stores. I've been out by my house in the middle of godforsaken nowhere and here in Phoenix. Just, it's crazy. It's weird to walk into a store in America and see shelves that are empty. That is a weird thing. I mean, most shelves have everything you need. There's more than enough, but it is still kind of a weird sight to walk in and in places where you expect stuff. I'm not talking about they're switching out from Halloween to Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm talking about like this is where stuff's supposed to be all the time. So I go and I get my Sprite. They had Sprite Zero. I'm like, well, I'll just have some Sprite Zero. And I thought it was Christmas Sprite Zero because I thought, oh, cool, it's already got the Christmas stuff on it, right? And it's got like the leaf and stuff. And I took a drink of it and I was like, it was cranberry Sprite, which I'm not a fan of. I just want to say, not a fan. But stuff's still out there. With Christmas not too far away, people are asking what her toy is going to be like. My kids are asking that. I said, this year, I'm going to whittle you guys everything you've ever dreamed of, so be excited about that. I'm not very good at whittling, but we're going to make an effort of it. How about Legos?
I'm going to call it right now. By December 1st, I will not have one Lego product in stock. So I'm already making plans for what is the product I'm going to put on our Lego wall.
Yeah. Legos. Where's everybody going? Why don't we have enough drivers? One of the things that happened last year is a lot of drivers said, I'm over this.
A large portion of our drivers is that baby boomer glut. And so there's a lot of those baby boomers that are retiring right now. And so at the moment, there are fewer drivers coming in than there are going out. And that's part of where we're seeing our problem at.
Absolutely. And so we touched on it last week. You've got 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds, the high school seniors that are going out, and they're right now getting opportunities to learn how to drive, and they're talking about scholarships.
It's hard to lose those wages. It's even harder to not only lose that work time, but then also have to be paying for the course as you go. And so that's why we thought it was important to be a little bit of a leeway for people to be able to hopefully be able to afford to get into the industry.
Yeah, so they're thinking about I'm like, how much is it to go to Debbie Dootson? Do they still have Debbie Dootson? They got to have a Debbie Dootson, right? They've got to have. If you don't know who Debbie Dootson is, Debbie Dootson was going to teach you how to drive a truck when I was a kid growing up, right? Yep, they got the Dootson School of Trucking still. I wonder what that cost. Let's find out. Phil, we're going to make you a trucker. Don't worry, it's for the show. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Today's the big walkout at Netflix. Woo! Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Money, 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 money. Wins the day. Well, always wins the day. So wins the day in so many ways. Netflix, this is the day, right? The great walkout is happening, except for the part where nobody's working at the office. So it's the great turn off your camera. Which is just, you can't make this up, people. You can't make this up. So we're not walking out. Well, we don't really. Where are we walking to? Because none of us, we don't live next. We're not in a company. Wherever's at home. So it's the great. Just go to lunch. Well, I know. It's money. At the end of the day, Netflix is a business, like Pfizer is, like our government is. It's a business, and the money will win out. Success, well, it matters. It does. So everybody's mad at Dave Chappelle because he's a meanie, and he said stuff. He said stuff that hurt your feelings? He did. Should I be offended? As a person who follows God, as a person who follows, little Christer, right, a Christian follower of Christ, should I be upset on how he started the Netflix special, talking about him with the pastor and him being molested and him doing something on the pastor because the pastor made him do it? Should I be upset? Should I walk out? I found out last year through through the old one of those 24, 23 and me or whatever. My son, he wanted to do it first, so, and that I'm part Jewish. I was like, whoa. His jokes about space Jews, should I be upset? I got 2 reasons to be upset. But Chad, he was mean to the trans people. No, listen to the story. The story's about a relationship between him and somebody he grew close with. That's what the story's about. Well, he said, yes, he did. He took swipes at everybody. So far, evangelical Christians, Jews, we can go on. There's a plenty of them. White people, black people. Want to keep going? But today's the great walkout / turn off your camera. How many people will be doing it?
Some of the walkout, some of the activism will be virtual because, we're still in lockdown, we're still in a pandemic. But trans people and their allies will walk off the job. We don't know how many, but they will also present Netflix with a list of demands.
A list of demands. See, here's the reality of it. You're hurt. Why? Let me tell you about victimhood. Victimhood is big business. You're a victim. I'm going to do big business off your victimhood. So let's talk about the demands.
One of those demands is, what are trans creators being paid? How many trans creators do you have? And what are you going to do about trans content that is flagged in future that we have issues with?
Well, should I flag the Christian and the Jew? Should we flag? Should we be doing that? Should we be flagging stuff? Is that what we're going to do? So I did the math. So, because you know what I do? I like numbers, and I'm just curious about what's the reality of all of this. So I went through the math. Titles, how many, all of the stuff that you can go on to, right? So you got to go through because there's 15,000 in the library of Netflix. That's titles, that's all this. There's 15,000. Now, that's worldwide. Here in America, it's about 5,100. A little bit less than that. So I did the math. And we're always about inclusion, right? And equitable. We want to be equitable. So if we're going to go based on the population, based on we're just going to break it down, let's do the numbers. So that way we can say, out of the 15,000, you should have 54 shows or characters across all those. And if we're going to do America, 17. 17. That's it. You ain't more. You get 17. Because we're going to be equitable. You go right, just, well, I mean, it's, what are you paying trans people? I don't know. What are they bringing? By the way, if your whole show is focused on only trans, and that's what it's going to be focused on, but it's not going to be entertaining to 99% of the population, then what should you get paid for that? If you're trans and you have something that's entertaining, and maybe it's about trans, right? Or maybe it's just really entertaining and a lot of people like it, 99% of the people like it because it's just entertaining, then you should get paid accordingly. Your demands mean nothing. Bring me something entertaining. You want to be classified as something special, above reproach, above humor, above anything. You cannot be questioned. Period, case closed, end of story. Do not question. Do not make fun of. Do not joke. That's what you want. You don't want inclusion and equity in a sense of, I want everything to be fair, and you know what? You bust my balls, whatever, we're having a good time, it's okay. Because that's No, you want, you can't joke about anything about this group over here because otherwise you'll be in trouble. What's that sound like? Sounds like people who don't have a sense of humor. I'm telling you guys right now, this is the kind of insanity. And the Netflix CEO said, well, I got it wrong. I should have done things better. He's trying to figure. No, you did what you needed to do. You stood up and you said no. You stood up and you said no. The reality is you don't like what he was saying. And 95% of you who are bitching and moaning saw none of it. So you're griping. No, we're not going to give in to your demands. No, we're not going to change everything we do to make you happy. How about this? Get some money because it's obviously you feel that there's a big enough need that's not being filled at a place like Netflix or any of these other places, and start your own LGBTQ2+. I know there's a lot of other stuff. Ampersand, I think. The Prince symbol. Remember Prince? He had something going on. And start your own streaming company. Fight back that way. And maybe you get 100 million subscribers. Or maybe you don't. That's the reality of it. And the people that come out and they virtue signal. Like, oh my God, it's just wrong. It's wrong what they did, and it's horrible, and Netflix is evil and bad. Oh, and then you find out later on, well, he just signed a new 3-year, 5-picture deal with Netflix. Yeah. Because they're saying the right things, when in reality, they don't believe 99% of this crap either. But you got to look like you care. It's like with climate change. Got to look like you care. The world's coming to an end. Have you seen the maps? Look, I can grab a globe and dump it in a pool and go, that's what's going to happen to the world. Is that based in reality? No. Follow the money. At the end of the day, if I told you tonight, Hannah Gadsby, who? Exactly. She was going to play this tonight here in Phoenix, or Dave Chappelle. Who do you think's bringing more butts to the seat? Just curious. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at it. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Some people are going to be mad. And you know what? I really don't care. I don't care. Again, I love all people. I got no problems with it. I have no problems with anybody. Black, white, green, orange, purple, yellow, don't care. Trans, non-binary, all that, whatever. Just tell me your name and go from there. That's it. That should be life. That should be the way we treat it. But by the way, it's funny because I watched a bit of Joe Rogan this, and I told yesterday he was talking about this with Michael Malice, and I was laughing because I told my son something a while ago that he didn't quite understand. I was talking to my friend Kenny, and we were busting each other's balls. We were freaking just hammering each other. And he couldn't understand at his young age. He was like 9 or 10, at the time. Why are you making fun of your friend? I'm like, what do you mean? I go, you're making fun of your friend. I said, yeah, but he's your friend. I said, yeah, it's close to me. I mean, to me, he's my boy. I said, we've been friends since we were 3. We went to co-op together. But you're making fun of him. Exactly. We're busting each other's balls. We're having a good time. We're having a laugh. But isn't that mean? No. Well, why isn't it mean? Because I love him. And me not doing that. Could you imagine think about this, right? So you're in a room and you've got a friend over here who's, you got a friend that's black, or you got a friend that's trans, and then you've got, your other friends, you got a woman and all this, and everybody else jokes with each other. They get inside jokes, they poke fun at each other, but we're going to leave this group of people over here out of all of that. Well, that's not very nice. No, but because we don't want to hurt their feelings. But you're making fun of each other. Exactly. It amazes me. We're going to start a museum of intolerance for the millennials. It's just going to be stuff. It's like, oh my God, you let a person put an HVAC unit inside of this college that's a cisgendered white male? Yeah, we were waiting for the trans HVAC person to come over and do it, but there wasn't any. So take your air conditioning and shut up. 323-538-2023 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Tweet, text. Check out getter.com, right? I went there. Got that. Got a great article I posted on both Twitter and Getter. It is really interesting. It's about the insanity of the contracts that Pfizer and BioNTech are building with all of these countries, where they're basically given carte blanche to do whatever they want, money-wise. They're just banking it, but they're also holding these countries to this insane level of stuff like, well, hey, we have a right to essentially seize properties. We want collateral. What do you mean, want collateral? Well, I mean, we're going to help you guys out with all of this stuff, right? Like, we can give you guys vaccines, but we'd like some collateral because we don't know if your credit's good enough, Dominican Republic. So we would like to be called the Dominican Republic, brought to you by Pfizer, until we see that you are essentially going to pay up. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet us, text the program. Car Shield. Car Shields car go farther. They do go farther. They do. And the reason simple, you look around right now. What do you see? You see a huge issue with getting new vehicles and a huge issue when it comes to affording even used cars. My buddy's lease was up. He bought the car outright. He goes, I can sell that car today. I've had it for 3 years for far more than what I paid for it to buy it outright. And they tried to screw me on that. Used cars are tough. So protect your car. Get Car Shield. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. Shop is the shop that you choose, which is amazing. So if something does go wrong with your car, your transmission goes out, you call them up. They're going to take care of it. Their administrators are going to cover it. They're going to top to bottom. You pay a small deductible and away you go. Car Shield has helped over 1 million drivers. And there's a reason, again, that the Car Shield cars go farther. America's #1 auto protection company. CarShield.com/Benson. Saves you 10% right there. CarShield.com/Benson. CarShield.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
You stink like fear and white male privilege to me.
I do often out myself verbally as a gender. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm proud to be a gender.
Are you stupid? What? Are you kidding me? Not a great way to use your white privilege.
Some people get it, some people don't.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
October is arguably the best time of year for sports. It really is. And you guys know baseball. I always joke about baseball. I'll watch the first game or two of baseball, and then I'll show up and watch October baseball. The one thing that baseball gives you that the other sports don't give you is this is the way I look at things. So an action movie is basketball and hockey. Okay, so it's basketball and hockey. Those are action movies. Like, one of them's like a kung fu movie, and the other one's like, it's like John Wick and all that. Those are those sports. And playoff hockey is arguably the greatest of all the sports. Playoff hockey may be the most intense as far as just from start to finish. Football is those superhero blockbuster, Avatar, Infinity, War, all of that stuff. Baseball is drama. It's long, it's tedious at times, it's a slow burn. But when you get into the playoffs, it is drama. And yesterday, I found myself doing something I haven't done in forever. Driving home, pissed off because the Doyers were I've watched them burn through their number one pitcher. At least right now, Walker Buehler. They're going through their bullpen. They were up 2-0. They're down 5-2 to a team they won 20 games more than in the regular season. Or 18. They are imploding. They lost 2 games on walk-off hits to Atlanta, and they were down 5-2, 1 out, 8th inning, 2 on. Cue the drama.
Got a pitch to Bellinger, and a fly ball to right center field. It's well hit, and it is gone. A 3-run home run for Bellinger. We've got a new game. It's tied at 5.
Doyers, baby. Guy got on first, steals second. Mookie Betts doubles him home. Dodgers win. Whole thing changes like that. Drama. You're hard-pressed, even to this day. Go watch the 88 Dodgers World Series, Kirk Gibson. That's drama. Other stuff, action movies, super adventures, swashbuckling, romance, comedy, all that. But sports, when it comes to this time of year, basketball started last night, hockey's going, football's going, and then the drama of this is awesome. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It is the economy, stupid. Always will be the economy. As your dollars go, so goes the way that you vote and see the political parties in front of you. If life is good and you feel like you've got nothing to worry about, the coach gets to stay. If life seems like it's uneven and maybe going sideways and maybe, just maybe, they don't seem to care or their tactics and play calling are failing, well then, it's time to find a new coach. This coach has a 4-year contract. Talking about Biden. 4-year deal. No cut. At least not yet. But we could get rid of his staff. So if you guys know anything about football, you've got the coach, but then he's got his offensive and defensive coordinator, right? You got your special teams coach, your wide receivers coach, your quarterback coach, right? You've got your quality control people. You've got your line coaches, offense and defenses. You've got your assistant head. You got all of those stuff. Same thing in baseball, right? They'll come to the manager and say, look, we're not going to get rid of you. We need a new hitting coach. Ooh, we need a new pitching coach. Our ERA is through the roof. Right now, people are looking around. They're going, am I going to get my stuff for Christmas? And sweet mama jamma, how expensive?
We're talking about $3.35 a gallon. That's a spike of over a nickel in just the past week. AAA telling us compared to last year, it will now cost you about $17 more to fill up your vehicle.
$17 more to fill up your vehicle. Now you say to yourself, and here's how data can be skewed. $17 more. You're like, But if I was to tell you that it was $1 more a gallon, because how many gallons are in your car? Mine holds 15. So it'd be $15? Yes. So it's $1 more. Oh, that sounds different, doesn't it? It was $2.30 this time last year. It's $3.30 now. Oh. Yeah, it's $1 more. That is different than $17. Welcome to the world of how to take something and spin it or put it in a certain way. It's the economy, stupid. At the end of the day, I say this, I continue to say this. I didn't coin that phrase. That phrase was coined a long, long time ago. But the reality is, as you go, if you feel good about the world, If you feel your job's safe, I don't have to worry about my job. If you feel that, hey, tomorrow we're thinking about buying something that we can afford, I don't have to worry about any of the stuff. I know my job's not going anywhere. I can go get a raise. I got money coming in. I put a little bit of money aside. I'm not worried about where my next meal's coming for, where the rent's coming for, where the mortgage comes. I feel good. Boom. But when you start to see the fact that it's $1 more for gas this time comparatively to last year, you say, Now, there are a lot of things that go into that. One of it is we're traveling more. You've had a ton of truck drivers who've retired. Many of those were people that were carrying the fuel from point A to point B. We've had issues with refineries, some of that based on in the South when it came to, first of all, being hacked, and secondly, because of the hurricanes. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. But we still look at the coach, right? And we say something's got to change. What's it going to be? Well, this has to end soon, right?
Experts tell us the cost of crude oil is still very high, over $80 a barrel. That natural gas shortage in Europe having a lot to do with it. Now, the most expensive states right now, California and Hawaii, both seeing average prices well above $4 a gallon. Now, it is looking like we may see another 5 to 10 cent spike per gallon. That could potentially last all the way through Thanksgiving.
So what does that mean? Well, it means that when you go buy stuff at the store, it's more expensive because it costs more. But here's something else that people don't realize is petroleum, oil, things that a lot of stuff is made with that. That's more expensive now. Now it's more expensive to get it from point A to point B. So it's more expensive to produce. It's more expensive to get there. And so that's being passed on to you. Your dollar bills aren't going as far. There may be nothing else outside of a few small issues that will control the way that people vote than their pocketbook and the economy. Outside of a few things. Yes, we usually check power, but I'm telling you right now, if you were to hold a vote today of just people who voted for Trump the first time, but then voted for Biden this last time. I'm not talking about the people who are already going to vote for Trump or the people that would never vote for Trump. I'm talking about the people that changed this by jumping from Trump to Biden. If you were to hold a vote today, I think overwhelmingly you'd find the people like, well, yeah, I'm not doing that again. That's where we are. And so much of it is the economy, stupid. People are looking and they're saying, when the last guy was here, it wasn't like this. And the reality is, I can tell you that prices for oil have been going up since the early part of last year, and everything else is being dragged along. The Biden didn't cause the supply chain throughout the world to fall apart, but it's landed at his doorstep. And this is where leaders figure out how to maneuver. This is where business people, which he's not, figure out how do we accelerate through this by using the might of the United States to get things in a position where we make sure that people have the things they want for Christmas, which means that, why is that important, Judd? It's Christmas. Because it's about the businesses. If the businesses don't have the things they need to sell, that means they don't make money. If they don't make money, that means they don't exist. If they don't exist, that means there's no employees, no business, no taxes. Ooh. Just throwing it out there. So you learn to adapt. And you've got the might of the U.S., ball's in your court. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Today's the big day. Big day at Netflix. They're mad. They're mad as hell. They're not taking it.
Some of the walkout, some of the activism will be virtual because, we're still in lockdown. We're still in a pandemic. But trans people and their allies will walk off the job. We don't know how many, but they will also present Netflix with a list of demands.
Somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, someone said, are you an ally? I'm like, are we going to war? And they're like, that's not very funny. No, actually it is. Like before this, outside of the bank and World War II, when's the last time somebody used the word ally? Well, you know what I mean. I'm like, no, that's just still, again, it's the goofiest thing in the world. Am I an ally? I want everybody to have a smile on your face, be comfortable, and live your life as who you want to live your life as. Don't demand special treatment. But I can't believe they're doing a virtual walkout. I was like reading about it. I was like, what are they doing? Oh, they're turning their cameras off. How would they even know? That's me. Are you walking out like all day? Would you walk out at school today if they were having a mass walkout? I'm like, yeah, and I'd walk all the way home. Just see ya. Thanks. I don't know who was offended, but wow, thanks for the day off. It's not very nice, Chad. I treat everybody respectfully, and I'm going to poke fun at you. I expect you to poke fun at me. Some of you, say horrible things about me, and you know what? This is how, I get stuff sent to me, horrible things all the time. And you know what I do? I scroll by. Well, it's because you're a cis, white, gender, male. No, I have friends who are gay, and I have friends who are black, and they're my friends. I don't think of them as anything other than that, but they'll have things sent to them because they also work in industries like this that are horrible. And you know what they do? They just kind of do the same thing. Scroll by, because that's the mature thing to do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I'm going to talk about this a little later because I have to be honest with you. I have no idea why this story got to me, but it shows me everything I need to do that we as a country should be doing to fight back on the insanity. And it's about hearing aids. Hearing aids.
Too often, patients have needed to make an appointment with a doctor or a hearing specialist to receive a hearing aid. And with today's proposed rule, that we would usher in a new system of over-the-counter options.
Hearing aids. We're going to talk about this because it is insane. I'm like, so to get a CPAP machine, I need to go see a doctor and have to do a sleep test. To get hearing aids, and I don't like things loud, so my hearing's just fine. In fact, I tend to rarely wear headphones outside of this. I'll wear my earbuds that I love, but I still like to keep things quiet. But I've always been flabbergasted for to get this, you have to go do this. And it drove me crazy yesterday. Like, wait, I have to go see somebody, and then you're going to charge, that person is going to charge this company this, and the government that, and my $200 hearing aids are going to be $5,000. And you wonder why people are frustrated. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. My Pillow has BOGO. That's buy one, get one free. Giza Dream Sheets. See, it sounds better when I do it that way. You will slide into your Giza Dream Sheets in an amazing way. Just in there, in the silky, smooth sateen feel that it is. The long staple cotton is grown in one place in the Mediterranean, right between the Mediterranean Sea, the Sahara Desert, and the Nile. And with that comes the greatest sheets of all, never too cold, never too warm. Oh, pretty nice, right? 60-day money-back guarantee, tons of colors to choose from. You're going to love these, and there's no supply chain issues. Get your BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Giza Dream Sheets from MyPillow. You go to MyPillow.com. Type in code Benson, right? There's a radio listener special. Check out deep discounts. MyPillow, Giza Dream Sheets. You get the buy one, get one free. They got the mattress toppers. They got the towels and the My Slippers. Yeah. All great Christmas gifts. All made amazingly. And all right here in the United States of America. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one, get one free. BOGO. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
I usually don't get into politics. As an ordinary suburban housewife, I feel a little disrespected. I teach my children not to name call.
You are a
Come on, man.
Guys, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum?
Chad Benson.
Just
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek and find out what's trending. Start over in the magical world of Google. It's always fun to look at Google and the way that things trend. It's totally different. Steve Bannon's trending because House panel votes to hold Steve Bannon in contempt. Does anybody really care? Some people do. Some people don't. Real Madrid trended yesterday. They crushed, I think it was Sheriff. I don't know. It was one of those teams. Or Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. The NBA was trending. Katie Couric. So funny. They don't talk about Katie Couric and the BS of, I protected Ruth Bader Ginsburg and edited out the stuff that would have made her look bad. But they're like, what was your thing like with Matt Lauer? Because one of them would have made somebody who they believe was an icon. And in many cases, she was. And I still contend that she is an icon, regardless of her politics and what she went through. But the fact that you were supposedly a journalist and you edited to protect her, that's not. But the relationship with Matt Lauer, that's big news. Huge. Huge. Ben Simmons trending, also on Google. Head on over to Twitter. Chappelle, the walkout. Excuse me. The walkout. The turn off your camera out. It's going on in Netflix today over their anger towards his jokes about the trans community. Travis Tritt. A lot of people are talking about him, talking about the fact that he canceled 4 shows over venues who enforce COVID-19 safety protocols, including testing, vaccinations, and mask requirements. He talked about the fact that he is yet to have that super spreader event at other places. And you know what? I got 0 problems with him just doing this. You know, it's and people are going to paint him as some lunatic and nut job. No, I mean, whatever happened to choice? But your choice could be bad. Okay? Look, if you're that worried, I've always said, if you're that worried about catching COVID or anything, then don't go to that venue. Problem solved. Right? Isn't that kind of it? Like, if you're that worried about something. And Travis Tritt was very honest about it. I don't think he's making anything bad. It's just, again, remember Fauci, where's all the sports games and the basketball, the college football super spread. There was no super spreader event.
We've done about 75 shows so far this year, in spite of the fact that some people would try to label these as being quote-unquote super spreaders. The actual numbers don't reflect that at all. Quite the opposite. In most of these areas, we've seen the COVID numbers actually drop. And so it came as quite a shock to me and a lot of my fans when, during the first week of October, a lot of these shows had restrictions placed on them, not by the state, but by the actual promoters / venue owners, and there was nothing that justified it.
Yeah. And again, if there's justification, that's fine. But all too often, everybody's following the science, and I say follow the money, and then you'll find the real science. And I don't blame these venues. I don't. That's Travis Tritt right there. I don't blame the venues, because everybody's looking to CYA themselves. So it's hard to blame venues when people are always trying to protect themselves. But it's just the way that this thing is done and how political it's gotten. It's just awful. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What will the Dems do? Right now, they're fighting with each other. Republicans had the same issue. By the way, when you're the party of power, you're going to fight within because everybody wants to get part of that big whatever it is that you're doing because everybody's serving special interest. What? Yeah, that's everybody's serving a special interest. Well, no, they're not. They're serving the people. No. They serve themselves, the party, the special interest. And then whatever's left is for the people. Democrats are fighting. Republicans have the same thing, right? Republicans have always been the talk a big game and rarely do anything. They're enjoying the fact that they, too, can become celebrities. On the other side of things, right now, you've got a bunch of celebrities fighting over stuff, not getting anything done. We have infrastructure bill that's out there that I think would be pretty damn good. But then we have the other thing. What's the other thing? Oh, it's the grab bag of fun and goodies. Let's see what's in this thing. Well, we don't really know. So we got to pass it to find out, right? It's 8,000 quadrillion pages. But right now, they're trying to figure out how do we cut some of this out? Because Manchin's not going for this. Kirsten Sinema's not going to this. How are we going to fix this? What are we going to do? Well, you're going to have to cut some of the stuff out. The way negotiation works is they're going to want a few things. And they want to cut some stuff out because they think it's ridiculous. We haven't spent all the money we printed for COVID. Now you want to go out and print more and give it away.
You know, anytime you need to slash a $3.5 trillion spending bill nearly in half, there are going to be some big ticket items that have to go. And now after a series.
By the way, I just want to remind everybody, it was originally $6 trillion. So we've cut it in half already once before. They want to do it some more. Oh, my goodness. How many big ticket items are they getting rid of?
Series of meetings at the White House yesterday. We have a better sense of what those items are going to be. The top Democratic priority that appears to be out is a provision that would have made community college tuition free for everybody. Now, that's a painful cut for some progressives, but it's a sacrifice they appear to be willing to make to get the price tag down.
Yeah. So there goes free college. No, not free junior college. I don't know how much junior college is. Apparently, it's really expensive. No, I mean, not compared to like the 4-year private school or even state universities, but it's still like 13th grade. It's going to cost you.
Another proposal that is most likely going to take a hit is guaranteed paid family leave, which could get reduced from a proposed 12 weeks to, let's say, as low as 4 weeks. But a Medicare expansion, universal pre-K, and a 1-year extension of the child tax credit will likely be preserved.
Look, universal pre-K. I have giving children head starts and helping parents get it back out there and make money. I that's one of those things where I'm like, I got no problem with that, right? As long as the money's used wisely. It's not about the. Let's be honest here. It's never about whether there's enough money. To me, it's always been how the money is spent, and I think most people, if you watch how the money's spent, it's spent poorly. And it's spent like it's not their money, because it's not. So they spend the hell out of it, because that's what they like doing. Because we've got all this money, we better figure out how to spend it. We got to get our buddies and pals together and find out what they need. The people that help us continue to hold this power, we got to figure out first and foremost, what is it that you need? What kind of party can you be thrown? Here, in this is Anywhere USA America. But this is politics in a snapshot. So yesterday they announced they're going to spend $159 billion to build. $159 million to build 1.6 miles of track in an area that desperately doesn't need it. That's insane. Excuse me, how much? It's going to cost $160 million for 1.6 miles, 10 blocks. That doesn't really need it. That doesn't really connect to anything. Well, what if you work 10 blocks away? Walk there. How hard is it? It's 10 blocks. Nothing wrong with a good walk. Talking to producer Anthony. He's on his Vagabond Jack Kerouac tour. Yeah, he's in Austin. And yesterday he's like, hey, the tour I took was only 2 miles. I walked there. That was like 1.5 miles there, 1.5 back. I could 5 miles there. I'm like, that's cool. You walk there. Right? So, they'll do you some good. And everybody's like, why is it so expensive to build that? I'm like, do you think that's all going to track? No. So now what happens is small city councils. So again, anywhereusaamerica.com. Anywhere. You get a bid. It's a bridge. It's this. It's that. It's whatever it is. So I take that and I say to self, okay, I've got all of this money to spend. How do I dole this out? Well, people are going to have to bid. Who do you think's going to get that? Well, this guy over here is my big construction guy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Always holds fundraisers. Is good to me. I'm going to give him a contract. Then he tells me about his friend who would love to have something set up. And I'm going to give him a contract. Then another person in city council says, well, hold on here. I got a person over here that works with such and such. And I'm going to give them a contract. And they're going to essentially get blank checks. And as we all know in government's like when you see a budget in movies and the budget says $100 million, double that for advertising. Because that's just the budget to make said movie. Then you can usually put 50 to 100% of that on top of it. That's kind of what this is. And at the end of the day, when you really knock it out with man hours, all of the stuff, it's probably a quarter to half of that. And it takes 10 times as long to get done. Democrats, this is a boondoggle for a lot of people when you look at the actual infrastructure bill, which I've got zero problems with. This infrastructure bill is none of that. This is a lot of handouts to people. It's building a as Manchin put it, an entitlement society. But then we get to the big thing, the thing that matters most, the thing that the media loves to talk about, the thing that the media loves to talk about, because it is the new fight that is going on. Climate change.
One serious sticking point at this point is a proposed measure to combat climate change. West Virginia moderate Democrat Joe Manchin told CBS the carbon tax is not on the board at all right now. But other Democrats are disputing that. This is a measure that would reward companies for investing in renewable energy and reducing emissions.
Climate change. It's scary. Climate change is terrifying. Yeah, Chad, because the world's going to come to an end. No, it's really not. I've talked about this in the past, and I'll continue to talk about it. Check out Michael Schellenberger, who's a guy that understands climate change, who gets climate change, who is this is a guy who's a former journalist. He's an author, and he talks about Apocalypse Never. That's his new, his latest books, which is a great book. How environmental alarmists hurt us all. By the way, uber progressive guy. And all he deals with is facts. Because somebody's victimhood, something's victimhood, something that we can alarm people to, that right there, for all intents and purposes, is where the money is made. Climate change. You got people out there going, climate's going to destroy the world. We better figure out how to fix it. All the while it's like, oh, we could do it through electric cars. Hey, invest in electric cars. We could do it through wind turbines. Buy all the wind turbines you can find. We could do it through this, that, and the other. It's because it's big. It's green business. And I'm all about, let's not crap where we eat. But the bigger picture is, there's money to be made, and the government will figure out a way to hand it out to their friends. And my favorite part of all of this is where that's happening, that means the people that are handing all those out want something back, and that's usually power and control. Just a thought. Just something to think about, kids. Just a smidge. Just think for a second. Just think, oh, yeah, maybe that's true. Can't be. No, it is. It is. So much of that is true. So the 1.6 trillion now, maybe 2 trillion, down from 6 trillion, down to 3.5 trillion, down to maybe 2 trillion, but who knows? But if you want to know about whether or not it's always about business and power, remember, Manchin, who's holding so much of this up, is in West Virginia, which is a coal-producing state. He's obviously not that worried about climate change. Because why? He invests in stuff that's coal. He gets nice donations from big coal. Follow the money. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Again, big day today. The walkout is going on at Netflix. Man, I don't know if Netflix is going to survive this. Just the chaos, the craziness. They must be struggling.
More than 4 million new accounts subscribing to that sound. Netflix says in the third quarter of the year it added 4.4 million new subscribers worldwide, beating its own projections of 3.5 million. Most of the newbies came in the Asia-Pacific region, 2.2 million there. Slow growth in the U.S., just 70,000 new accounts. But that's better than the 400,000 who deactivated in the region last quarter. Q3 revenue was $7.5 billion, up 16% from last year. Netflix still the top streaming dog, with 214 million subscribers overall.
What? But they're having a walkout today. Yes, they're going to have a walkout today because of the Dave Chappelle special, and they want stuff.
One of those demands is, what are trans creators being paid? How many trans creators do you have? And what are you going to do about trans content that is flagged in future that we have issues with?
Again, your issues. Nowhere in the Constitution of the United States of America or anywhere else in reality land does it say that you, no matter what group you are, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, black, white, green, orange, gay, straight, trans, cannot be offended. That you, for whatever reason, are completely protected against any offense or any hurt feelings. Nowhere does it say that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. By the way, they're not really walking out. Most of the people are still working at home, so they're turning off their cameras. Oh, jeez. My goodness. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. We were talking earlier about, the hearing aids and, you got to go get a prescription. And we just, and I talk about hearing's important. That's why I love Raycon, because I can control the sound so easily. I have more control over this than so many other ones that are going to cost you 2, 3, 4 times as much. Raycons start under $70. They are just amazing, and the fit makes it so you don't blow your ears out. The quality, the feel is awesome. The new sleek designs that they have, perfect time for Christmas. No issues here with supply chains. 45-day happiness guarantee, free shipping in the continental United States of America. And you're going to get this amazing case. It's going to give you 4 full charges before you have to plug it back in. And they have wireless options available as well as for charging. So grab your Raycons, the best earbuds around. 45-day happiness guarantee. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Saves you an extra 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Don't poke anybody in the eye. That'd be sad. Today is Wednesday. We do woke stuff on Wednesday. Why do we do woke stuff? We just like giving you the understanding of what the woke world is all about. And there's nothing wrong with being aware of your surroundings and the current world that you're living in and the climate of which you're living in, where people are always looking to punish people for some sort of transgression. So we want to put you out there in the world where you understand, where you may be going to the old version of what used to be the coffee, cooler, water cooler thing. The new version is Twitter and things like that. We want you to understand things you should and shouldn't say. Get an understanding of these things because, well, that's where we are. And we don't want you to lose your job or get in trouble. We don't want you to get punished because we care.
Hi, my name is Liana. I use they, demon pronouns. So we're going to basically present sentences. One of them is going to have one pronoun. The other one's going to have the other pronoun.
So the first sentence would be, Liana is my partner. They are cute and I am theirs. I love them very much and I hope they love themselves too. For the demon pronouns, it would be, Liana is my partner. I love Demon very much, and I hope Demon loves Demon's self too. Then interchanging the two would be, I love Demon very much, and I hope they love Demon's self too.
Do you guys, Demon, get that? Remember, it's about changing the words for everything. So demon stuff, kids. Demon stuff. They, demon pronouns. Use it correctly. What about, this one's for Phil, the lefties.
I am a f***ing left-hander. The system has always been against me. I am oppressed. Everything in this right-handed world is not meant for left-handed people, even in the workforce. We were discriminated against since biblical times, and we are still discriminated against today. You're privileged.
Yeah. Remember, the left was considered evil. The association of when they talked about what? On my right and on my left. Oh, yeah. And there is biases, except in baseball, right? Because in baseball, whoa, man, if you could throw a ball left-handed, you are living the life amazingly. Golf? Go to the store. You'll see a lot of left-handed golf clubs. Right? But, yeah, you've been discriminated against. So lefties is the left-handed supposed darkness. Darkness. So you guys have been discriminated against. And for that, we apologize. Please don't cancel us. Oh, my goodness. And the book of Matthew describes how God will divide the nations on Judgment Day. Right? Shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. On the right hand, sheep, goats left. See what they're doing there? So, yes, we are sorry. You're the next group. And by the way, us redheads, I don't even know what we do with us anymore. We're at that level. Nobody cares. Not very nice. But we will have our day. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Gitter as well as Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Follow the money, kids. Follow the money. And when you get there, you'll find out what real science, data, and anything else politically actually is about. Until then, watch the establishment media. I'm not saying all the establishment media is bad. I'm just saying there's always an agenda, right? Like there's always some sort of agenda that's out there. Somebody's always got an agenda. And their agenda consists of either keeping their people happy, donors, not their constituents. Let's be honest. They care more about their constituents for one day a year the rest of the year and the time that they're in office, they care more about their donors. And the second thing is, and this is vitally important, is when you look at the power that these people grab, understand, rarely is it about the control and the things that they want to do that is about them living under any of these things. They always want to live above it. Everything's about living above it. It is. Case in point. Remember, there's going to be no mandates? Private business, do what you want. This has nothing to do with private business. So you have the people out there like Biden and them, well, there will never be mandates. I do not, no. Mask or otherwise. Then those came in. Then there was never going to be, what? Anybody? Oh, yeah, there was never going to be any vaccine mandates until that came in. And then it was going to be, well, there's going to be vaccine mandates, but only if you work for the federal government and if you have 100 or more employees, and even if you contract with the government. Or, okay, so, and then if that happens, we're going to give you the opportunity to go out and to at least test if you don't want this. Now those are being thrown out. It's take it or leave it. And it's ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why? Because the powers that be enjoy the power they have. From the beginning, we've talked about this. And I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to continue to say this. I've gotten the shot. It was my choice to do it. I've also had it. Natural immunity is an amazing thing that is all too often overlooked. But I made the choice myself. I care more about freedoms than the shot. But I've said since the beginning of this, the power that small municipalities, agencies, city councils, school boards, etc., have gained from this, along with states, and the power to use this as political leverage is huge. And it's going unchecked in some places. Other places, it's not. Not the same way. Like, look, you go look at the red states. Their insanity is different than the left states, if you will. One wants to mandate everything. The other one wants to mandate nothing. They want to mandate you can't do anything. You leave it to private businesses. You leave it to adults with their children. But what if children get sick? I'm going to look at the numbers over and over again, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be okay. Well, they could die. More are going to die this year riding their bikes, getting hit by cars, than from this. Both of those are bad. Don't hold that up. Nobody wants to see their child get sick, but most of these children don't even know they've had it. How do you know? Because I've got kids, and they all tested positive, and my son thought, oh, Dad, I don't feel good. I'm really sick. Oh, really? What did you think? You have COVID? Dad, I want to tell you this, but I ate 2 bags of Takis. That's what he thought he had. He ate 2 bags of Takis. He was sick for like 6 hours. Some kids can get sick, yes. That's my stepdaughter got sick, but she wasn't really sick. But it's about the power. And it's going unchecked. And it's frustrating. And people hold this up as if this is the moral thing to do. And if you don't do this morally, you're an evil, bad person. This is an MP, Member of Parliament, Mark Harper's his name, talking about this very, very thing that we're talking about and how we've been saying this unchecked power of government. You better check it.
But I think a lot of people have been very uncomfortable with the ability of government to take action without parliamentary control. So I think, look, most people would agree in an emergency, government needs to be able to act. And I have no problem with ministers having quite strong executive powers, but they have to be properly controlled. So if you take another piece of legislation, the Civil Contingencies Act, measure that's used when there's a national emergency, ministers have a lot of power. They can do almost anything they want, but they have to come back to Parliament very quickly, within days, to get Parliament's approval. They can't just wait for 6 months and come back to Parliament every 6 months. So I think there's a deal here, which is ministers should have the powers to act in an emergency. That's quite proper and right. But they should have to come back to Parliament quickly to secure Parliament's approval on a regular basis to check that those powers are exercised properly. I think that's how the public can rest assured that ministers are making a good case and not overstepping things.
Yes. That's what people want. It's one thing to have powers, but it's the unchecked powers and this, like the mandates, right? Like I keep asking, I never get an answer from anybody. How long are they going to last? I don't know. So you just need to see a shot. So you go get a shot. Are you going to ask me to get a shot in 6 months? Are you going to ask me to get a flu shot? Are you going to ask me to get what else are you going to ask me to do? How long does this go on for? What about the mask wearing? How long do we do that? Is there a level of which we drop under that we go, oh, now you guys don't have to wear a mask? Or is this just going to be, continually getting people to do stuff to see how long you can get them to do stuff? These are all fair questions, having nothing to do with whether or not I think you should get the shot, because there's no reason not to. If you are in a position where you think that you're going to get potentially hurt by this really bad, you work with people, know people, related to people that you could be around who are compromised immune, and it's just like getting a flu shot. That's it. You go get the flu shot. It's not 100% at all. But when you ask these questions, I always get ignored, or I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Remember the Patriot Act? You guys remember that after 9/11? Grabbed a bunch of power. Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. They put the Patriot Act in there. So it's going to be temporary. Maybe that has gone on for how long now? 20 years? Always looking for something else to grab power of. And this is perfect to do. Most people aren't nefarious. They're not going to overuse it. But a lot of people, when given the opportunity to go unchecked or have very little in the amount of answering to other people about what they do, will take more than an inch. They'll take that yard. Then they'll take 10, and they'll keep on going. And you've seen that. Mandates went from, if you don't get a shot, you have to get tested and wear a mask. Okay. To, you have to wear a mask even if you've been vaccinated, and if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to get fired. Wow, that's a big jump from we don't believe in mandates to that. Just ask questions. Follow the money. Nothing wrong with that. In school now, they got new math, right? They're talking about, look, we should have critical thinking and stuff with math and all this new. And it's so funny because most people don't think in any critical way. They're not willing to ask questions about things. They're not. They're not willing to ask questions about, hey, just out of curiosity, how long does this last for? I don't know. I mean, if you go to the doctor today and they say, hey, you're going to have knee surgery. We recommend you have knee surgery. Okay. You could do therapy, but we're going to recommend knee surgery. Okay. You just don't go, okay, and then show up. What's it for? Well, your meniscus and your ACL have little tears in it, and that could become big tears, and we'd rather get in front of it. Can I do therapy? You could, but the reality is it's 50-50. It might get better. Maybe you seek a second opinion. Maybe you don't. But if you finally decide on that, you just don't go, okay. You go, how long am I going to be out? How long's the surgery? Am I going to miss any work? Is it inpatient, outpatient? Is it, am I going to be able to play sports again? Am I going to be able to run again? Am I going to be able to, will this help me avoid having to maybe have my knee replaced? You're going to ask all kinds of questions. We don't do that, especially when it comes to certain things anymore. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. And by the way, don't take my word for it. Never take my word for it. I do my homework. You go do yours. And if somebody tells you, take my word for it, you don't have to look anywhere else. We're the only ones who are the people that are bringing you the truth. Immediately, just for and giggles, maybe look somewhere else. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycons, best earbuds around. Wear my Raycons. I'm going to work out a little bit later. Go for a walk, right? And then I'm going to do some stuff with my weights and my bands, and I'll have my Raycons on. I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to, sometimes, you know what I really like doing? It's just the peace and quiet, because the noise isolating fit is so incredible and you don't feel them in your ears. It is awesome. And I'll just walk sometimes and not really have anything, and maybe just have even some nature sounds on because it's just soothing, because I do so much. I'll tell you what, I love these. Better sound quality, better design, best fit around. Start under $70. The best earbuds you will find are Raycons. This is how you get them. Save big, an extra 15%. Wireless charging available. A charging case that gives you up to 4 full charges before you have to recharge that. Truly amazing. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Saves the extra 15%. Best earbuds around. No stems, no wires. Raycons. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
It is Woke Wednesday. We got some fun wokeness coming up in a little bit, including don't call people Americans. Yeah, this is spectacular. Chad, why do you pick on wokeness? I don't pick on wokeness. I pick on the stupidity of being woke. Being woke, for those of you who don't know, is essentially being awakened to the social injustices of the world. I got no problem understanding there is social injustice in the world. That's true. Is it as big as people make it out to be? No. Why? Because if somebody can make you a victim and make you feel like a victim and talk about how you've been victimized, usually behind there is an opportunity for them to make money, to control. Those are the realities of it. That's just it. Even though it is Woke Wednesday, we'll get to it. It is also Halloween time, and this guy, well, he's a winner.
A Halloween-themed display so haunting we had to blur it. This is a look outside the home on Longview Street in East Dallas. Not sure if you can tell, but there's a lot of blood and guts and gore, all fake, of course. The owner is an artist who tells us police actually came to his house a couple of times after a similar scene.
A lot of people have been asking how the wood chipper fountain works. There's a fountain head, a water line, 1.5 inch hose. So if you turn the pump on, then it's cool.
It is awesome. This guy's got the best Halloween thing. If you look at it, it's great. And you know what makes me laugh is people called the police. Like, nobody said, what month is this? It's October. What happens in October? Well, let's see. It's Columbus Day. You've got Canadian Thanksgiving. Halloween, that happens in October. Yeah, you're right. What's Halloween about? It's about trick-or-treating and scary and spooky stuff. And no, maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Or maybe this guy's just a mass murderer, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to put it all in the front yard, because that's how cunning he is. He wants to make sure that everybody sees that he's wide open about how he lives his life and killing people. Oh, it's great. It is. I just sit there and I laugh. And it's so he's got the wood chipper. He said he wanted a kind of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre art kind of theme. To me, he's got two that are great. The wood chipper, the fountain is neat. And if you guys have seen Fargo, it's great. But he's got a guy that is laying in front of his porch. So he's got a guy as you walk in. He's got one of like an old, not so much craftsman style, but kind of like that. And he's got a porch So you walk up the one step and then you go to his door, but hanging over is the roof, and he's got a guy that's been hit with an axe in his head, and he's dangling, but then he's got a guy in front of the porch that like a safe has fallen on his head, and there's just brains everywhere. Then he's got a guy that's in the front yard who's leaning forward, and he's got like a tiki torch all the way through his head, and then it's lit up. And I'm like, that guy, that's a good neighbor. That's a neighbor that's fun. People are like, I don't think so. His house is a mess. Somebody said, well, what if kids saw it? It's Halloween. Explain to them. It's not real. Those are fake. Those are dummies. It's like a movie. Close your eyes. Turn your head. How hard is that to tell people? But if you tell kids that, what happens? What do they want to do? Well, you need to look. So instead, you let them see it. And they say, it's all fake. It's just for show. He's trying to get shock out of people. He's having fun. You'll understand it when you get older. Oh. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. It's possible. Little Woke Wednesday, as we do each and every Wednesday. We got some fun woke stuff coming up. We got some of our non-binary stuff. And we have got... I don't even know what to call this other than it's the playbook for wokeness that you are going to absolutely go, are you kidding me? And we're going to talk a little bit about the walkout going on at Netflix. It's Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Every single Wednesday, we like to get a little woke. We bring you guys up to speed. We do it a few times an hour, just little things. We got something special planned here. We do. But let's get into it. First, it's like if you're working out, you want to stretch a little bit. Want to make sure that you get, you don't want to go into something cold. You want to pull a hammy, right? In your wokeness, I don't want to pull a hamstring. I was trying to be really woke, but I didn't warm up properly, and I pulled a hamstring. You ableist.
Did you know that there are individuals that identify as all three? Non-binary, gender fluid, and transgender? Well, you're looking at one. Allow me to explain. Non-binary and gender fluid fall under the umbrella term of transgender. I am transgender because my gender identity and expression differ from the gender I was assigned. I am gender fluid in that my gender identity and expression range from the masculine to the feminine or somewhere in between. And I'm non-binary as I'm not exclusively fixed on either both ends of the spectrum.
Okay. Chad, you're just being mean. No, I'm not. That just seems confusing, right? Right? That let's be real. That seems a little confusing. You can't be everything. My mom used to say, sometimes in life, you're just going to have to pick a lane. Oh, Chad, your mother sounds like an awful person.
So when people ask me, hey, do you have kids? And I respond with, yeah, 3. The question is always, boys or girls? And that question needs to be removed from every single language because it is always super uncomfortable for the other person when I respond with 2 girls and 1 non-binary. And then they look at me like I have 2 heads and they're like, what's non-binary again? Well, they don't identify as male or female. So not she, nope, they, them. It's actually genius. They found a loophole in the system and they get to pave the way and be whoever they want to be without stereotypes. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. You don't think for one instant that lady right there at home when her daughter is playing make-believe with makeup and wants to be a princess or the boy's playing with Tonka trucks, you don't think for a second, not 1 second, maybe she tries to push one in one direction or another? You don't think that happens? No, Chad, they would never do something like that. I know they wouldn't. Today's the big walkout at Netflix. And I say walkout because nobody's actually in the office.
One of those demands is...
They've been walked out for a long time is what I'm trying to tell you.
One of those demands is, what are trans creators being paid? How many trans creators do you have? And what are you going to do about trans content that is flagged in future that we have issues with?
I don't know. Let me ask you this. Is there a right for you to not be offended? I'm not saying that people don't have rights, but is there a right where you can't be criticized, you can't be made fun of, you can't be not just criticized, but like made fun of in a way where you're on a TV special and somebody made fun of what you thought was making fun of you in particular or other people, when there was a lot of people that were made fun of, but you're picking yourself out and you want to hold yourself at a standard that's higher than everybody else's as to be protected, where you're above being made fun of, or you're above being criticized, or you're above any of what everybody else has to. I remind everybody, if you've seen the Dave Chappelle special, he starts out by talking about a pastor at a Christian church who molested him, and, well, I can't say the rest. He also talked about space Jews. So you guys enjoy well, it's not really a walkout. You're going to turn your camera off. I don't know what time that's at. But I'm letting you guys know right here. Nowhere do I find people protected from being insulted, being criticized, being made fun of, being whatever, microaggressed. There's nowhere in writing that somewhere in the law, Constitution, somewhere like, you can't do this. Nowhere. Everybody is open for criticism. Everybody is open to be made fun of. Everybody, you do not have a special don't get my feelings hurt protection. Especially in a world now where we, and that's everybody, all 6 billion of us, now get to decide what somebody else meant, and we get to take it the way we want to. So somebody's always going to have their feelings hurt. I don't really think that's nice, Chad. I'm just being honest. I'd like to look. Being Woke Day, October 15th, it's just been updated. It is the National Recs and Park Association Equity Language Guide. We're going to go through a few of these. Want to make sure you guys are up to the wokeness and the understanding of everything. So one of the things they talk about in this, by the way, just to show you a Vox article they quote in this, provides a good background to be as specific as possible. Always use more specific terms if possible. If you find yourself relying on generalizations, do some research in the groups of people, topics, and locations you're writing about. Great article in Vox. That's always a good way to start. So here we go. And it talks about stuff. What's an ally? Anti-racism, community engagement, cultural humility. I'm like, what? It's a lifelong process of self-reflection and self-critique where we not only learn about another's culture, but also start with the examination of our own beliefs and cultural identities. Okay, whatever. By the way, they also don't want you to call people Americans because that apparently is offensive. But then we get down to the fun stuff, right? Like they did health equity. They got all that stuff in here. Holidays, don't use that word anymore. Implicit bias, inclusion. I don't know how many voiceover scripts I've read in the past couple months where the word inclusion and equity was all over it. Now we get down to the microaggressions. Man. By the way, they didn't even want you to use stuff like native, invasive when it comes to plants because that could make people apparently upset. So they have Latino and Latina. These are umbrella terms. By the way, that is not stand for umbrella in Spanish. Latina is feminine, Latino is male. But they have Latine, which is gender neutral for Latino and Latina, or Latinx, which is a general neutral term for Latino, Latina. Like, isn't that the same thing? Chat, come on. Indigenous land acknowledgement is on here. Now, they say this in big red. Use this term with caution. People of color. Minority, racial minority. Avoid using this term. According to Vox, do not use person of color to describe an individual. Okay, so we get down here. Man, I tell you what, there's a lot of stuff here. I hope there's no test. Like, I just want to protect the bears. That's all I want to do. Maybe go look at the trees while I work here. Sorry. So these are ableist microaggressions, which is the name of our band. Do not use the term "that's so lame." Do not do that. That guy's crazy. It's also something else you shouldn't use. You know what they don't put in here, though? Like, what is, like, okay, so I don't call it lame. What do I call it? Well, you know, that guy's crazy. So what do I call it? What do I say? That guy is mentally unstable? Well, don't say that. That's going to hurt his feelings. Okay. How about this one? It's like the blind leading the blind. Don't use that. We need to be aware of our blind spots. Don't use that. My ideals fell on deaf ears. Do not use that. She's such a psycho. How about she's unhinged? Can I use that? Would that offend anybody? I don't even think of you as disabled. These are all things. Are you guys writing this down? I mean, everybody write this down. Chad, it's just about being nice. No, you know what you do? Treat people equally.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Follow the money, people. We talked about mandates today. We also talked about, if you go look at the coronavirus vaccines, which I think are healthy as far as, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. But the way it's pitched and the way that the people got behind it, donors pushed, and the way that Pfizer and Moderna do business, which is, BioNTech and Pfizer are holding countries' feet to the fire with their contracts. That is truly amazing. And I've always said this. You follow the science. No, follow the data, and you'll find out the real science. Well, no, isn't that what we're doing? No. But to follow the real data, what do you need to do? You need to follow the money. That money will lead you to the real data, which will lead you to the science. Everybody else says, just follow the science. Take our word for it. When somebody says, take our word for it, you don't always have to take their word for it. Do your own homework. Here's my homework. Several friends who are doctors. Several friends who work in the pharmaceutical industry. One of my good friends works in the pharmaceutical industry dealing with this kind of stuff. Building things that will be used in the future. But they always talk about, and she's always said this, it's about the patent. It's about the patent. First and foremost, it's about the patent. The money that they are creating and generating, which I have zero problems with making money, but how they're doing it and getting government to essentially mandate taking their stuff is pretty damn awesome. But it saves people. Yeah, it's great. So does the flu shot. All of those things. I'm not disputing any of that. What I dispute is how big this thing got in a way where control was grabbed and 9 new billionaires have been created. and the wealth of the billionaires before this in the pharmaceutical industry, along with the new 9 billionaires in a very small world, they could take that money and vaccinate all of the poor countries in the world 1.5 times over. When you look at some of these contracts, and I put it out on Twitter and Getter, when you look at some of these contracts and what they're doing to some countries, where if you sign up with Pfizer or BioNTech, and America says we will give you some Pfizer or BioNTech and Moderna, you can't take it. You also can't give it to your neighbors. So Brazil can't give it to Uruguay. Ecuador can't get it from Brazil. Nope. You go to them and them alone. Same thing here. We talked about it. Martin Shkreli was a scumbag. Pharma bro. I think we all realize that. Take away what he did. He's not in jail for this because what he did wasn't illegal on this count. But they brought him up to Congress and they grilled him about taking a medicine that was like a $20 medicine and hiking the prices up to $700. At the same time, the new Merck drug, of which money was given to them by the United States of America, they're going to take their, instead of 50 times multiple, it's 42 times. Follow the money. You'll find the real data. You'll find the real science. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We were talking about wokeness before we were so rudely interrupted by the interwebs. We're on to the new, this is the National Recreation Parks, Association. They got a new guide out in the Woke Wednesday. And some of the stuff. So homeless people are now, it's not a homeless shelter. It is an emergency shelter. Okay. So don't use first-person language, people. That's my favorite. Use persons, first language people experiences and call them unhomed. I'm like, what? That makes it sound like, or unhoused. What? That makes it sound like a dog, right? We're trying to rehome him. We just can't. Low income, right? Low income communities is an acceptable term, but it's important to note that low income or low income community is historically served an implicit descriptor for people of marginalized races. Never use the word poor. Instead, use people first language such as people whose incomes are below the federal poverty threshold. Poverty, instead of that, you should use someone who lacks income. That is... I don't know how people survive like this. Like, how do you get there? And say, okay, so wait, hold on a second. So this person is, they're not poor. They're, how about income challenged? See, that's a good one. I'm income challenged. And if you've lost your job, right? Instead of saying between jobs, you could say you're job challenged, right? I'm helping, guys. Chad, you're not being very nice. Probably not. But that's only because people are offended at everything. Don't be offended, people. I'm telling you today, if I've offended you in any way, shape, or form, get a thicker skin. Have fun. Have a smile. Treat everybody the exact same. It shouldn't be that hard. We make it hard because life is so good, we got to find stuff to bitch about. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet, text, do all that stuff. Check us out across all the social media stuff. You guys have a good one. We got you over the hump. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.